Cha. So what if I did the same thing but with some actual feeling this time? Yes, oh yes, hello again everyone, and by everyone I mean my phone, as I sound like a schizophrenic patient that escaped in my house to talk about Transformers toys that correlate to the year again. I hope you are all doing very, very well. I hope the year has treated everybody well. Yes, oh yes, as was my mission statement before, I am going to talk about all the Transformers that I got this year, which correlate to the year number. So that means I am talking about my top 25 Transformers of the year 2025. This little expedition was started when I would watch other Transformer YouTubers talk about their favorite Transformers, their top 13 Transformers of 2013, top 14 of 2014, top 15 of 2015, and so on and so forth. But as I watched all those YouTubers slowly and understandably phase out to just do their top 10s by the time it was 2018, I couldn't help but wonder, well, what if there was someone that still did their top 20 of 2020, top 21 of 2021, top 22 of 2022? And that's what this little project of mine aims to go ahead and engage in. Now, with all that said, we will go ahead and get right into it then. As I no doubt need to mention, this is completely subjective. This is my list. This is my opinion. If you have your own thoughts, make a list of your own. This is just a simple, creative little venture of mine. Don't be afraid to do one for yourself. All that said, we are going to start off what I think is incredibly strong and get on with it with Transformers Prime First Edition Deluxe Class RC. As I stated before, I have gotten many Transformers this year, so for her to be this low on the list is for her to essentially be a bronze medalist compared to all the other bronze medalists and silver medalists and of course gold medalists that are going to be on this list. Now, with all that said, even though I am presenting her in her robot mode, I do want to get it known and out of the way that her vehicle mode is just absolutely excellent. Even with these big old arm blades attached to the side of the vehicle, she is still an incredibly fast looking and very just cool bike mode. And the transformation to get into that bike mode is incredibly fun and intuitive, not necessarily difficult at all. Unfortunately, admittedly, a little cluttered because of all this nonsense back here, which is admittedly one objective reason as to why she's so low on this list. But with all that said, she is still one of those bots that I have that is just a dream come true, that I am so happy to have into my collection, and just absolutely breathtaking to look at. She's absolutely wonderful, absolutely excellent. I'm so happy to own this version of a toy of this version of the character, and yeah, this is number 25, so I like to think this is going to be a very good list going forward. Getting into something that actually came out this year very recently is Transformers Deluxe Class Age of the Prime Vortex. This guy is absolutely excellent. He is the baseline to me for a lot of figures. Like, he is the foundation to be built on top of. Great articulation, great vehicle mode, no hassle at all. Transformation to get in between those two modes. Him coming with 3 weapons, I think, is really fun and really cool. And he is, of course, a great appetizer that is going to come for Bruticus. Just like the aerial bots and the Stunticons before him, I am greatly looking forward to building up Bruticus as time goes by. And yeah, he very much deserves to be in the top 25, and he very much deserves his spot at number 24. Great figure. Keeping with the oldie but goodie and also a bike former stick or theme, it at our number 23 spot is Animated Deluxe Class Oil Slick. Absolutely excellent, so good, so fun. This guy had been in the back of my head ever since I was a kid, and he originally came out. His simplicity is where he shines. His transformation can be done in like 10 seconds blindfolded, but it is incredibly effective and admittedly, yes, incredibly still fun to do. and it leads to a bike mode that is just menacing. I love the slight asymmetry of him with the ram skull on his shoulder. That is just hardcore. Every biker's wet dream. His two accessories are okay. He's got the barrel right here that opens and does nothing. I don't recall if it's supposed to do anything. You've got the barrel right here that has a chain and he can use as a weapon. And I am in no mood to want to show that off immediately because it's going to require a lot of editing. He is incredibly fun, incredibly cool, and I'm so happy to finally have him in my collection. I'm so happy to finally own him. He is absolutely excellent. Very, very excellent. This really is just me showing off a lot of my Grails list, because here at our number 22 spot is Transformers Prime Deluxe Class First Edition Bumblebee. Absolutely wonderful figure. Absolutely excellent. I am so lucky to have found him at a toy shop at my old hometown and getting him right there and then, no matter how much it may or may not have hurt my wallet that day. That is between me and the shop owners. Like with RC just a little while ago, he has an excellent vehicle mode, which is bridged by a transformation that is not at all overcomplicated or overly complex, just perfectly intricate and while still being very, very fun to do. My only real gripes with him is that I wish he came with another weapon. I got this guy mint in box, so I know for a fact he only has one of these arm blasters, and even then, I wish that he was a lot like RC in being able to actually put them anywhere. To my knowledge, as I recall, and looking at the instructions for this guy, I don't remember or recall seeing where to put them, so that is a bit of a shame, but at the very least, he is very, very much kibble-free. His articulation is absolutely excellent. He's a bit barrel-chested, but past that, he's an absolutely excellent figure and very, very much deserves the spot that he has right here, beaten out only because everything else that I have, I just love so much more, or maybe just on a technical, objective level, they can just do what he does just a tiny bit better. Continuing on to number 21 is Legacy Deluxe Class Beachcomber. I have coveted this guy since he was first revealed on a live stream, but he unfortunately just completely passed me by. I don't recall ever seeing him at Walmart. I remember him being completely sold out almost everywhere online, and that was just something I had to deal with. As I read the Skybound comics and his role was just absolutely excellent within them, I wanted him even more and more. And so I am incredibly, incredibly lucky that I got an email from Big Bad Toy Store saying that he was up for pre-order along with Ultra Magnus, and I went ahead and did both of those at the same time at GameStop. And he is completely worth it. His transformation is very, very fun. It is very Chug-like in how simple it is, and I believe it is right here where you have to extend it, and that helps transform his vehicle mode, transform into his vehicle mode, which is incredibly, incredibly fun and very Chug adjacent. Oh, I dropped a parakeet. Rah. Of course, that as well. His little parakeet accessory is very cute and very adorable. Very, of course, reminiscent of his G1 of the G1 episode where he finds a golden lagoon, and unfortunately things go to hell from there. He's just lovely, very, very excellent. He epitomizes what it is, I think, to be an Autobot, or he's very, very close to that anyway. He just an absolutely excellent figure, and I say what I said just a moment ago because he's one of those figures where his personality, even from the fiction, really shines in the piece of plastic that is supposed to represent him. Absolutely excellent, very, very good. And now we get into the top 20 figures. Getting into the number 20 spot, still in keeping with a lot of oldies and goodies, is Animated Deluxe Class Waspinator. If Oil Slick was in the back of my head for a long time, it's because this guy was at the forefront of it. I've been in love with this design ever since I saw him be on stock in Transformers.com. He is just so fun, so lovely. I'm so happy to have finally acquired him. Derek J. Wyatt's art style, just as usual, comes across in flying colors, even through a physical toy like this. It has a very simple flapping gimmick with a little button right here on the back. Nothing too crazy, but it, again, just like with Oil Slick, and just like with many of the animated figures of the smaller capacity, it is in their simplicity where they shine. just like with Oil Slick, his transformation can be done in about 15 seconds blindfolded by anyone. You could never have touched this toy before, and you'll still be able to somehow put him in his wasp mode with your eyes shut. Very, very excellent figure, very fun. So happy to have him. So happy to have expanded my animated stuff this year, even if just by only a few figures. And yeah, just wonderful. Just wonderful. Every toy this year has truly helped complete that little part of me in some way, to some extent. And I'm so happy to be able to finally have a toy that little kid me would have just adored and played with to some severe extents. Breaking away from the 20s and getting into the teens is Deluxe Class Studio Series, concept art Widowmaker. Absolutely excellent figure. She is just a wonderful, genuine work of art. Even though I will admit I did not see her coming. I could not have seen this coming from a mile away. Studio Series concept art. Sunstreaker makes sense because Sunstreaker is still a pretty popular character with G1 fans, and making him look like a Bumblebee movie character is pretty good. Megatron, of course, makes sense because that's Megatron. Someone like Widowmaker, who was a character that was pretty close but spiritually also still in the Bayverse in its prime, is definitely more of a gamble compared to the pre-existing G1 characters. And what a good gamble it is. Her robot mode does leave a tiny bit to be desired, especially with her lower half in terms of articulation. But I think she still just is excellent, even despite that. Despite her transformation her transformation compromising her articulation in robot mode that little bit. But again, ultimately, I think it is still just an excellent complete package. The transformation is incredibly smart and fun, with the roof of the vehicle folding into her legs to become her calves, which allows her to have almost no articulation. No kibble, I meant. Not only that, but the weapon integration into the vehicle mode is just genius. Truly just genius. It makes it a very necessary part of the transformation to be able to have to put her weapons into her legs and to be able to, so that they can be used as like sandwich meat to be able to hold to the other two pieces of plastic together. And for as smart as that is, that can leave the compromise of well, what if I do want the weapons outside of the vehicle to be able to put them on the back for a silly little battle mode? She doesn't have, if I recall correctly, she doesn't have any ability to do that, to have a battle mode, which can, for me, ruin things a tiny bit in terms of not being able to have the imagination to go crazy with the vehicle mode. But again, even with all that said, just as an item, as a physical item here, she's just absolutely great. So unique, from her transformation to her weapon storage to just her choice in colors. And she's one of the only orange Transformers I think I own. Just ultimately absolutely excellent. I think I placed her pretty well, putting her at number 19, just barely breaking away from the 20s. Absolutely excellent figure. Very, very well done on Hasbro's part for this one. I once told a story in my last video when I revealed that the 2007 Deluxe Class Jazz Transformer repaint into Smokescreen was a mold that I am so glad that I got back. And I talked about how he and that corresponding year's Bone Crusher were right here at my chest at all times, and how both of them were played with and loved to the extent of ridiculousness. Jazz, unfortunately, of course, maybe not so much, as I did lose him in a bathroom in a place of business, and when next I went there, he was gone. Bone Crusher was more of a survivor, and he is not in a great state now anymore. He's missing his head, he's missing an arm, he's missing his tail, he's missing a piece of kibble to transform. He is just ridiculous. He was well loved and he was well played with, but with that severity of being played with, I couldn't feel the pride in wanting to display him, and I'm sure that's a very privileged thing to say. I'm sure it is. So either which way, as I said last time with that jazz mold, even though it was repainted into the smokescreen, still '07 Deluxe Class Bone Crusher is as beautiful as the day I lost him. He was as beautiful as each day that I lost a part of him anyway. Just absolutely excellent. I love to this day, I just like, whoopsie daisy. Thankfully that can be fixed. Just like with his masterpiece counterpart, I love the tail gimmick still. I love his truly alien extending arm gimmick. His transformation is fun. His robot mode, of course, is just excellent. And the only gripe I have with him, as I did back then, it was just the fact that he's a little too small to be fighting up against a leader class Optimus Prime, or maybe you could have gone with the Voyager. Either way, those guys are still a little too big for a guy like this. But still, I am just so happy to have him again, complete and with nothing loose, nothing broken. Just absolutely excellent. His vehicle mode is powerful, even with the small size, just like the Masterpiece guy. Just absolutely lovely, absolutely excellent. I am so happy again. I am so happy to have him again, and he is as lovely as the days that I had lost him. Absolutely excellent guy. Absolutely excellent figure. A lot of nostalgia, I know, but hey, make your own list. This is mine. Keeping on with the nostalgia, it's the final first edition member that I have acquired this year, and it is none other than Transformers Prime Deluxe Class First Edition Cliff Jumper. This guy is the complete package to me, because his weapons are integrated into his hand, so you don't have to take them off like RC and Bumblebee, and you don't have to worry about where to put them, unlike the other two. His transformation is excellent. He goes from this big bulbous guy to what I would almost describe as a sleek muscle car. And if you do everything properly and correctly, all the wheels excellently roll. And his articulation, of course, is absolutely excellent. Challenged only by Bumblebee's, because Bumblebee has a proper waist swivel, and unfortunately this guy does not. But again, for as excellent as all the first edition guys are, they are a product of, I believe it was 2013, 2014, maybe 2012. So I can hardly have too much of a criticism for that. He's truly, absolutely excellent. The only negative he has is, and even then it's no real fault of his own, so much as it is the designers and the foolish idea to have clear plastic be a socket to a ball joint. His neck doesn't require a lot of shaking for it to just start moving like a bobblehead, and it is a bit of a shame that is the case. But I've been able to work around it pretty good, and ultimately, I'm just happy that I've been able to piece together so much of the first edition guys this year, from RC, who I found at a local toy shop, to Bumblebee, who I found at a different local toy shop at a completely different city. I'm super, super happy to have been able to have found this guy, I believe mint in box as well, for a pretty decent price on eBay. The only first edition guy I'm missing is Optimus Prime, in terms of the Autobots anyway, so we'll see how that goes. And maybe I'll even do a dedicated video on Bulkhead, because that guy deserves a spot in the sun. Alrighty, I hope you've got some alcohol and some shots ready, because I'm about to start saying the word Prime a lot. At our number 16 line, being the first introduction to the 13 primes, is Micronus Prime. Wonderful little guy. This is just so creative and so excellent. The transformation of this bot is super fun and very unique, not even in how much of a parts former that he is, but into what his vehicle mode leads into from that transformation. He is a unicycle motorbike, and both of his legs make the one wheel. His arms turn into the thrusters, and his body remains somewhat similar to become essentially to become where a seat would be. But you may be wondering, oh man, well, I know there's been two motorbikes, but surely there would have to be a driver, or there's a figure out there that would have to be the driver for a set like this. And maybe you've been seeing just how blank of a slate this face is for this figure. And you would be right. And maybe some of you, and maybe I'm doing too much of a weird showy-offy segue for a figure that a lot of people probably have. Because either which way, this is not Micronus Prime. Oh, geez. This is Micronus Prime. And the actual Micronus Prime proper, as opposed to his mech suit, is just an absolutely lovely little data disc. It's his vehicle mode, of course. As you can see, the Minicon symbol is just about right there. There are a lot of seams that kind of make it a little difficult to look at, but that is no problem at all. And his transformation, it takes, like with many of the other ones before him, at 10 times the size, only takes just a few seconds. In the time that I've been talking to you guys, boom, here he is. Here is the actual Micronus Prime. Here is the actual god of short people on Cybertron. Absolutely excellent tiny little figure. They both make a very fun miniature playset. And the thing about the primes that one reason why certain primes will be on this list and some aren't is the fact that the ones that are on my list, I think, are good enough to be standalone purchases without needing to go all in with the 13. And he is one of them. This guy, once you get him properly situated onto his mech suit's vehicle mode, is truly just so fun. The mech suit itself is of course a weaponizer, so you can be able to put it on any current any Transformer period, not just the current day ones, but you can still be able to have that creativity with it and just go crazy with putting Micronus' mech suit on any bot you want. Absolutely excellent little dude, great figure. Very good articulation. I love his little RID 2015 face. I think that is a very good art style for this guy. Just absolutely excellent. Very, very good. Very, very fun. And a worthy prime to start off with. The only reason he's as low as he is, or he's below certain other primes, is just one of those things. For as much fun as there is, it is just the terrible reality of it just being so small. In comparison to everything else, that it has a little bit more bang for your buck. Absolutely excellent either way, though. He's very, very good, very, very wonderful, and does a really good job at being number 16. Of course, number 15 and onward, however, are just that little bit better. Getting into our top 15, I hope you have your shot glasses still ready, because we're going to keep on saying the word Prime a lot. It is none other than Studio Series Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime. Oh yeah, only the top 15 could be started with just this little bastard right here. He is, as a toy of course, he is excellently done. The colors pop wonderfully. His wings are absolutely excellent. Oh, hold on to the ankle tilt there. His wings are absolutely excellent, and his accessories are pretty good too, even though personally I am somewhat upset that he doesn't come with his sword that goes back and forth with its blades. But even then, you almost don't miss it. This guy has the energy of a Unicron Trilogy figure in the way that he can be able to activate a super mode with a lot of the hidden panels that are on him that you don't even notice right now. With one just as simple as that, pushing his forearm guard down over his hand, and that makes his cannon arm. You push down this flap right here in his chest, and there's his mouthpiece. You pop open the shoulder right here, and you can move a gun to face outward like so. And for his legs, these golden panels can open up, if they feel like working with me, and you can flick out those missile launchers. He truly is absolutely excellent. And that's before we get into his transformation in his jet mode, which, for as simple and as almost plain as they are, respectively, a simple transformation and an almost plain, I found myself still just deeply in love with the vehicle mode. I love how swooshable it is. The transformation is fun and easy to get through, so it doesn't take too long to get to that vehicle mode. This guy really is an excellent package. I love my little John Hamm, and I greatly enjoy this toy a lot. He's very, very excellent. There was a small point where I did not put him down for a little while, and he is definitely a good, also standalone Prime purchase, even though he's a little more difficult since he's a bad guy in a movie, and you kind of want to get maybe a Megatron or an Optimus or even an Elita 1 to be able to have him go up against this guy. Still, though, very excellent figure, very good rendition of this character from the movie, excellent villain, a lot of great context that goes into this guy. Just absolutely wonderful, absolutely excellent. Very, very good figure. At our number 14 spot, we have Age of the Primes, Voyager class, Prima Prime. Do you have kidney failure yet? I hope you don't. I still got a lot of guys to talk about. This guy to me is just excellent, and it is very peculiar because it is in him being so standard bot that I think is the reason that he shines so much. While yes, his colors definitely leave a lot to be desired with the Games Workshop gray and the darker Games Workshop gray highlighted with blue that barely pops, he is still just an excellent technical toy. His articulation is very, very good. His transformation to his vehicle mode is good and surprising, while still being very fun. And the vehicle mode, the Space SUV, is also just a very good, very unique mode, I think, when you compare it to all the sports cars and tough trucks that we see before. He is just very, very good. His sword is absolutely excellent, super fun to mess around with that. His sword accessory only furthers the point that I made about Micronus Prime and therefore a lot of the other 13 primes that are on this list. He is an excellent standalone purchase. You don't need to go all in on the 13 primes to be able to enjoy this guy as a figure. You know, if you're a crazy son of a gun like me, yeah, I'm going to go in for all the 13 primes because that's something that I find really enjoyable. But you would only need this guy, and you could still have a lot of fun with him. I know there's a couple of upgrade kits to make his very boring head a little cooler, give him a bit of a bigger blade, maybe give him a cape and a shield from DNA Productions, of course. And I think that is very, very excellent, all in good. I just might go for that myself. But again, standard figure, completely on his own. I don't think you really need that, because if you recall what I just said about everything that was there, nothing there is needed to help the articulation or help the figure itself perform better. It's all extra fluff, I hesitate to say. Where it's just, oh, well, yeah, we'll make the blade bigger and deadlier, we'll make the head nicer and cooler looking, we'll give him a cape and we'll give him a shield. All good things, but that just goes to show that the toy itself is already so functionally excellent that all it needs is just extra fluff to be even more fun. Absolutely excellent figure, absolutely wonderful, very, very good toy, just great. At number 13 is the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Viacon. This is Widowmaker's older brother, and the reason he beats her out is, admittedly, he does have a better job in terms of the articulation, even though, admittedly, that is all in the arms. His arms are really, really fun, really, really great, and unique in the way that they deploy their articulation, because, as you can see right here, the ball joint is on the side of the elbow, but because it's on that outward facing area, it helps this guy look a little more alien than he already actually is. Just like with Widowmaker, a lot of the roof of his car is folded up like 3 or 4 times into the shin and calf of his robot mode leg, which is just a genius bit of transformation, and it was really, really cool to see that in Widowmaker all these years later. I will say, it is very surprising that we don't see more of that transformation trick still to this day, and because it makes for an excellent figures so thus far. In fact, this figure is so excellent, it's so nice that I bought it twice. I have 2 of the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Viacons. I gave this guy both of the guns. This guy just gets to be a hand-to-hand duelist. I might just go in for a third to round off the numbers to army build and leave it at that. It is a true testament to the design of the Viacon that you can be able to get as many as you want and never really get bored of the character design itself. It's just an excellent little dude. You can get 1, you can have only 2, you can get 3, get 5, 10, go crazy, as I'm sure many people did at the time. But for me, just 3 will do. and it is just absolutely excellent, just wonderful. Again, like with animated, I'm very happy to have built up my Prime collection. There was a lot of stuff that that just never arrived to my home, to my home city. So to get all this stuff that I always see people talk about, or see people playing with in toy reviews, and finally have it, and finally really understand what it's like to have these guys in my hand, is just excellent. Absolutely excellent action figure. Great transformation. Great vehicle mode from that transformation. Very fun to get into it every which way. Just great. Very, very good figure. Very, very happy to have him. Wonderful. At the number 12 spot is Sea Spray. Just wonderful. He's just an excellent representation of the mini bots, which have been going just excellently these past few years. Bumblebee's great. Cliff Jumper, I've kept the same Cliff Jumper since Earthrise. He's just very, very good toy. I have, of course, Studio Series Bumblebee. This guy, Brawn, Outback is coming out soon. Swerve is coming out soon. Power Glide is coming out soon. And for everything that is coming out, or that I already have, this guy is just so fun and so unique, from his colors to his vehicle mode, and the transformation that bridges those two is wonderfully complex for what is supposed to be a mini bot. There's a lot of fun to be had with this guy. And while it is a shame that the Walmart exclusivity makes him $29.97 at the store, I was lucky enough to be able to get him for $24.97, $5 off, on the Walmart website. So if you've been gunning for this guy, do that instead of going there physically. He's just an absolutely excellent package. As I said, his transformation is excellently complex. His robot mode is just a teddy bear given hard plastic, and his vehicle form is incredibly unique his vehicle form is incredibly unique amongst the Autobot ranks. Just absolutely lovely, absolutely excellent. Him and Beachcomber, I think, are best buds. Just wonderful. No notes. Just absolutely excellent. Very, very good. Getting into the number 11 spot, get yourselves ready because I've got a few things to say about this guy, is Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. Now, like I said, I've got a few things to say about this guy, so buckle up. I am gonna start with the positives, because oh my god, this guy is just truly a work of art. He uses transformation techniques that let us know that Hasbro is duly aware of the way third-party companies can make their shit and utilize it for themselves, even if to a small extent. But even then, it's still absolutely excellent because they have utilized these techniques onto a figure that you can still get at just friggin' Walmart or Target or Amazon, you know? And it won't run you back $200 unless it's an aftermarket price, but we're not gonna get into that in this video. Again, the transformation is absolutely excellent, which takes this wonderful robot mode, which is full of excellent accessories, from the sword, from his original Baver's sword, to the shield, to the sword that looks regal and powerful in his hands, into that bulbous truck from the movies, which is represented very, very well. A transformation which, while yes, bordering a little too overcomplicated, is still very doable, and the end product of either this action figure or the truck mode is incredibly worth it to go through after all of that. Again, ultimately, a work of art. He's very, very good and absolutely excellent. But I do not like how small he is. It's very weird how, yes, this guy will run you back anywhere from $50 to $60, and in terms of everything he can do, he is worth it, but the size betrays him. I find it very ridiculous that this toy that came out just last year is still about half a head shorter than this toy that came out 9 years ago. This is Premier Edition The Last Knight in Megatron, which was essentially just a regular Voyager. I do not have the ability to properly showcase them standing properly side by side and foot by foot, but if this angle is about right, which I'm hoping it is, I stood the two of them together right behind me on these white railings, and it is very, very plain to see that this Megatron, this 9-year-old figure, through no fault of its own, it is still taller than a figure that came out just this year. Granted, I do think that it's pretty cool that it's very likely that this guy was part of the design process for this guy right here. And while I think there are a lot of good positives to come out of these negatives that I just said, it still stings a tiny bit when, at the same time that this guy is being sold, Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Overload is being sold and is substantially bigger and debatably more worth the bang for your buck. Still, though, all that said, and all that criticism, I think ultimately he is still a very, very good figure. And just incredibly fun to handle and hold. I know that the Nemesis Prime is coming out soon. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's that much more worth it. I honestly don't care for the darker gray. I do wish this guy had the proper segmented shoulders. Excuse me. I do wish he had his big gun. I do wish he had that 5-barrel or 4-barrel hound gun that he has mystically in The Last Night out of nowhere. I do wish he had like all the accessories that particularly sharp blade that the Nemesis Prime has. Sure, I can wish and want all I desire, but ultimately the package that I'm given here is just excellent and is just super incredibly fun to mess around with. I know that I just went through my negative criticisms, but still, there's always a positive I think that can be made from it. For instance, this backpack, it's on a mushroom peg. If you don't like it, if you find it so unsightly, you can be able to just remove it, and you can be able to appreciate the smokestack detail that are right there on his back that are a little difficult to see. I know, even with the backpack on, but still, like I said, if I so chose, I could remove it if I wanted to, and I can be able to live with it like that. And whenever it is I want to go ahead and transform it again, I can just reattach it like so. I know parts forming to this day is still a big topic of contention. I don't mind it because, as it stands, these 3 accessories need to go somewhere, and they have to get attached to his truck mode when he is in truck mode, of course. Ultimately, great figure, very well done. He very much deserves his spot at number 11. Again, all those criticisms I have, for as much as I can take a positive out of them, they are still built on a negative. So ultimately, his number 11 spot, I think, is is very, very much warranted. This guy is very, very fun, very, very excellent. He is very much a true work of art, which says a lot because there are still 10 more figures that I'm about to go through here. So let's get it done. Alrighty, we're in the top 10 Transformers from the top 25. Absolutely excellent. These bottom 15 are still just excellent. Everything that's right up here are also very, very good. But as I said earlier, if all the guys here so far have been bronze and silver medalists, then from here on in, up to a certain point, everybody is a gold medalist. That is how good so many of these figures are. And we will start that top 10 with Age of the Primes, Commander Class, Silverbolt. Excellent package all around, completely on his own. Robot mode here looks great, just as is with the mission statement from Hasbro ever since Siege. He is an excellent G1 adjacent robot mode with all the modern trimmings, all the good articulation for ever since they've rebooted, yet again, the toy line. Absolutely excellent guy all around. Let's see, for all of this, which I think is both cool and also not, we'll get into right now. The Superion skeleton, I know that the skeleton is a topic of contention. I personally don't mind it. I think it works pretty good. But considering that our only other frame of reference for major combiners has been Combiner Wars, and I will say with a lot of them being so flaky as they were at the time, I think that is ultimately why the skeleton works better for me compared to each individual guy being its own limb. the aerial bots, and of course Stunticons, and no doubt the Combaticons, even though the Combaticons are doing it a little bit differently, are essentially dress-up pieces. And I know that is a major anti-selling point that people can choose not to go in on. There are plenty of upgrade kits that are, barely the price of 2 deluxes for these days that anyone can get, and you essentially have a completed Superion that you don't need to spend all the extra money for. But ultimately, I am unfortunately a bit of a Hasbro fanboy. But ultimately, I think it works out well. The Combiner Skeleton. So all that to say, I was just eking out time just to be able to get him into his vehicle mode, which is absolutely excellent and it's just super duper easy to get through and do. Just to keep on with the package, the Combiner Skeleton I think ultimately is fine, and I didn't mind going in on the aerial bots, the rest of the aerial bots, to be able to not only just to have fun with them, but also of course complete Superion. And let's see, the base mode, rather turret mode, I think for Silverbolt, I think is fine. I don't care for them. I think it's whatever. But one shining thing that I do enjoy very, very much from this package is being able to do this. This is awesome. This is hilarious. I love how much bigger it makes it. I love that it looks like a paddle ball racket. I think this is just the funniest thing ever. I think this is just really, really cool. It makes me think of like an aerial base for maybe humans or mini-cons. Just super duper fun, super duper hilarious. The shape is just makes me smile every single time. I think this is an excellent package completely on his own. Just like with Motormaster himself, you don't necessarily need to go after the rest of the Stunticons and of course the rest of the aerial bots, but it is just a richer experience to have not only this with them, but to have all the groups together. That said, I know I went back on a point in the middle of it. You still don't necessarily need the other 4 guys, because this alone is already super fun, and you technically do already have a completed combiner by way of just having these guys. So ultimately, he's excellent at the number 10 spot, and as I alluded to with my number 11 pick going forward, he is a good and excellent, genuine, fun work of art. And I look forward to seeing how Onslaught is going to look, and I greatly look forward to seeing how Hotspot is going to look in the future. At the number 9 spot is Studio Series Commander Class Ultra Magnus. Like with Beachcomber, as I said just earlier in the video, I've coveted this guy and Beachcomber for the better part of a year, putting down money for the pre-orders because of the way the system works at GameStop has just been only building up to the excitement of this. He is just excellent, and to have him to this miniature masterpiece capacity, it just genuinely makes my heart flutter, man. What can I say? I was gonna say, oh, well, it makes me so happy. No, this makes my heart flutter. Yes, it does make me so happy. It is just great. And knowing that it isn't like the Siege guy where he just turns into a White Optimus Prime when you take all of his clothes off is even better. It is just him. And the gimmickry on him just helps all the more. His light piping is absolutely lovely. The flip open and spring loaded chest to reveal the Matrix of Leadership and a painted inside, something that Studio Series Optimus doesn't even have, is wonderful and very, very fun to do. I do very much enjoy doing that with his chest. He comes, of course, with the fire effect parts, none of which I was able to get because I kind of don't want to be filling with that too much right now. And you can be able to remove a missile, put a fire effect here, and make a missile look like it's firing towards whatever Decepticon that you so desire it to be fired at. He is truly a complete package. His transformation is absolutely excellent, and it leads to a vehicle that is truly, truly fun to mess around with, which has its own set of gimmicks. To be able to put like 3 or 4 deluxe class figures on him and just drive him down, drive him down, if you have something like my situation, a white railway, is truly just so fun. This guy is absolutely excellent, though unfortunately not without a negative that I do have. This gun, he is not very well adjusted. I don't know who didn't do their proper trigonometry to be able to get this gun to properly sit in his hand, but it's very noticeable that whenever, well, never mind, I guess. Happened many times where I would lift up his arm and his gun would start pointing in the other direction, compared to this gun, which is in there very securely. But nothing I can't work around with now. Excuse me, my arm got tired. Ultimately, yes, great guy, great figure, great transformation, great vehicle mode. He also does have the being exploded and dying gimmick, which is morbid, but hey, they already sold 2-packs with the Autobots being slaughtered from your G1 movie, so it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, just absolutely excellent. Very good. I love this guy a lot. I'm so happy to have him in my collection. He is absolutely lovely and absolutely excellent. So good. As I said just a moment ago, I am very excited to see what a modern day hotspot is going to look like. I found myself thinking and almost fixating on the Protectobots a lot this year. I love how they really accentuate being the ultimate good guy, the ultimate genuine defender against people that might need help, not necessarily to fight a Decepticon, but just to exit a burning building. They are firefighters and, decent healthcare providers made steel. And I just got so excited and choked up at that idea maybe I should buy a product about it. And instead of waiting for God knows how long to see when a modern day Age of the Prime or whatever the subtitle may be hotspot will come out, I went ahead and I got the Generations Inferno mold hotspot, and he is absolutely excellent. He is incredibly fun. Yes. I found him at the same toy shop that I got first edition Bumblebee at, and I know I joked about what I joked about in terms of, oh haha, my wallet, just about Bumblebee, but one of the reasons was because I got him at the same time as well. He wasn't nearly as expensive as Bumblebee, being mint in box and all, but he was still just an absolutely worth it purchase that day. His color scheme is incredibly unique with the with the vibrant cyan blue, or turquoise, rather. He is just so excellent. His articulation is very fun. I love the shape of him. He's truly very much built like a strong man made into a robot. Oh, jeez. He's got a foot-firing missile, which is very fun. Even though that missile, if it were to be in a piece of fiction, would probably just be a lot of water, what with his fire truck mode being just that. And what a unique fire truck mode it is, man. And the transformation to get to it is very fun, very chunky, very clickety, very just and tough to get through. Tough to get through in the sense of it just feels fun to get through it. Not that it's a difficult transformation. I didn't want for that to be lost in translation. He is just an excellent dichotomy of what an Autobot is in terms of he looks like a bruiser, and and I know in fiction he has a bit of a personality of a bruiser, but ultimately he is a good guy, and he does want to help who he can to the best of his ability. Great figure, absolutely excellent, and it's just super duper fun to have in my collection. Very happy to own him, and like I said, I'm greatly looking forward to what a modern day Hotspot and Protectobots and Defensor will look like. Very much. So this guy is a good whetting of the appetite until then. Alrighty. At the number 7 spot is the completed Superion. Yeah. Yeah. Again. Not again, but I don't mean to epitomize, oh, well, he's just a big toy, so that's why he's on the list. Yes, that is why he's on the list. He's great. piecing these guys together was incredibly fun as the year went on. Getting them, pre-ordering them, waiting for them to arrive was just, to get to this was just great. Plus, unlike Menasor, you can do a bit of a half 50-50 scramble city with this guy. This arm can be on that arm and vice versa. These guys, of course, can switch around, which while not nearly as expressive as the Combiner Wars guy, I will give Combiner Wars all that credit in the world. How much more creativity you can have with it. It's still really cool to have a dedicated Superion be Superion and have it look good and slavishly G1 accurate and all that good stuff. That's stuff that I kind of find myself criticizing very, very often because it's all we get. It's just G1 nonsense. But still, having him on the opposite side of my TFC Hercules, aka Devastator, across a Combiner Wars or a Power of the Primes Abominus, and across Menasor, and very soon across Bruticus, is just really, really cool. Again, I'm very much looking forward to the Protectobots. I had a lot of fun building this guy up. He is just incredibly fun, very stiff, holds together very, very well. There's not a lot of immediate, droopage unless you, of course, make it so. Just excellent, very, very good. Good articulation, the whole 9 yards. Good old-fashioned big action figure. Absolutely excellent. At the number 6 spot is the Transformers Animated Optimus Prime versus Megatron. The Battle Begins 2-pack, specifically Optimus Prime. This is a bit of history right here, man. This is just absolutely excellent. I found him at a toy shop in California, and I could only afford either him or Megatron. So obviously I opted for this guy, and I do not regret it at all. This is excellent. This is just very, very good. I am going to go to that same shop later this month. Hopefully the Megatron is still there. I will go about acquiring him, but not holding my breath with the Christmas holiday and all that, but maybe he is still there, hopefully. But this is just very, very good. His robot mode is just awesome. It is just absolutely excellent, super, super fun to look at. His head is just so intense with how sleek and slim the eyes are. It looks like he's glaring at you the entire time. His axe is just absolutely excellent and fun to see him wield. Even though I do wish he had the entire pull to be able to have shift throughout his grip at whatever stage. It is just absolutely great. All this stems from the fact that and I know it's going to sound a little silly or maybe even weird, but his physique, it's like I'm almost jealous of it from the top up. His shoulders are just incredibly broad, and his waist is so hyper thin, it makes him look even broader than they even already still are. You look down at him, and his head is on top, downward looking at him, and his head is just in the dead center of just Cybertronian metal, which could be taken for muscle. He is just great. He is genuinely so good, and it's pretty cool how all this excellence from him comes from a time when, generally speaking, a lot of figures were very gimmick heavy first. And the gimmicks on this guy are absolutely minimal. All he's got is a spring-loaded waist, so he can be able to swing his axe in one really cool motion, and that's it. And past that, he focuses so much on articulation, transformation, and just a good vehicle mode. A transformation which I was very surprised to see was utilized a lot for the legacy version of this guy, from him to Motormaster and of course to the Nemesis Prime repaint. That 3 uses of the legacy mold, I was very surprised to see how much they took from this guy. The transformation is almost 1-for-1 with the modern dude. It's just a testament to how good this toy is that to this day they still use the exact same a lot of the same transformation steps. Ultimately, it is just very, very cool, as he is the last animated representation on this list. As I said earlier with Oil Slick and Waspinator, Derek J. Wyatt's art style just shines through this toy, and it coming from a time where the animated line was just so excellent. Oh, jeez Louise, and so unique and truly just so cool, that to have this bit of history from one of my favorite Transformer shows of all time, probably my favorite show of all time. Now that if I think about it more, it's just wonderful. This is an absolutely excellent work of art. I've coveted this guy for a long time. I never knew if I was ever going to get him. I hadn't searched for eBay because I didn't want that to just be a lost cause. And I got incredibly lucky finding him at that toy shop in California. Wonderful. Wonderful toy. We are in the top 5, everybody. We are in some real high honors now. But still, we are dealing with gold medalists, and there is a step above even that when we get to our top 3. But until then, we are going to showcase the top 5 with Revenge of the Fallen Scout Class Sunspot. As with a lot of Scout Class figures at the time, him and of course his mold mate Skystalker are just excellent. There's so much that you can do with this guy, and there's so much fun to be had with him that lets your imagination soar. His design is truly eerily inhuman in terms of his head. Just the expressionless drone singular eye is just truly fear-inspiring. Never mind his robot mode and just his head with how much articulation packs on such a small package. But when you have him in his drone mode, you can get him into a Gerwalk mode in between. You can be able to remove the hatchets that are within his wings, and he can be able to wield them in his robot mode to give him an even more frightening and threatening appearance. And all of that while he is dressed up as a banana and vanilla sundae, with that dichotomy, I think is really cute and really fun. I have, let's see, what was his name again? I have the original version of Mindwipe. There you go. I do have the original Revenge of the Fallen Mindwipe. And not too long after I got Mindwipe, I did get his red Autobot repaint Strafe. And I did get Sunspot to go with Strafe. So now I only need to get, I may or may not go about going after Skystalker just to complete that little quartet. Because it is just truly such an excellent mold. This guy is absolutely great, and having him with Strafe is wonderful. But they were sold separately, so I am treating them as separate figurines, as separate spots on the list. There's so much that you can do with this character. He is so excellent, so fun. His only real negatives were the spring-loaded gimmick that him and the Fallen share, where upon putting him on a surface, that is when his feet would expand. I wish they didn't do that. I wish there was, a way to just be able to pose his feet to my own desire and without having to work around a spring. But past that, he's excellent, and he was again, like with many of the guys on this list, he is a figure that I have coveted for a very long time, longer than Magnus and Beachcomber. This guy's been in my head since I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and I'm 26. So, just absolutely great, absolutely excellent figure. I'm so happy to have him, and I look forward to having his original mold mates, hopefully sooner rather than later. There's also the story that with this guy in the first place. Very originally, I saw a listing for him on eBay for $50, and when I went onto the checkout, it shows the recommendation for other figures. I saw this guy again. Oh, okay. Go down to $40. Perfect. My phone died in the middle of that, so just to make a whole needlessly long story short, I originally saw him for $50, then I saw him for $40, then I saw him for $18. He's great, he's lovely, he's excellent. Yeah, he's good, he's great, I love him a lot. Let's get on with the list. At the number 4 spot of this list is Age of the Primes Triptychon. Good God. Yeah. Big boy. Big boy. As he is wont to be. Yeah, so let's see. I was never particularly interested in. I believe it was the Power of the Primes one of this guy. Um, yeah, Power of the Primes of this guy. He just didn't strike my fancy, and then they re-released him, but with this much nicer black coloring, and that's what made me go, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll go in for that, and I was able to get him for half off his original price. So from 200 to 100, I was able to get him from a local toy shop here in my old hometown, and he's absolutely worth that price. Again, with these guys being $200, I'm not sure I could ever be able to agree with that kind of price point for the simplicity that comes with these guys. And I think he is the most simple. I think in terms of his transformation, Metroplex Legacy at Cybertron Metroplex and Legacy Armada Tidal Wave, I think they're more complex than this guy, which is not to say that he's bad. There's still a lot of great stuff that you can do with him, from the weapons that you can be able to mess around with. Full Tilt right here is his own separate guy, which makes which is, and he's fully functional. He can go from a robot to a vehicle as they are wont to do quite well, and so he's, I think, very excellent. I wish he had wrist articulation, but that's fine. The spaceship mode is okay, but the city mode is where he shines. So yeah, number 4 spot. He very much deserves it. He is very good, very excellent. He is just, I'm looking at him, I'm lost in all his detail, man. He's just so good. He's absolutely excellent. Very much worth it. I have had so much fun with this guy. Look, again, going back to his city mode, I can look at that thing and I can really imagine it looking like a bustling city or an active war zone because of how just grand and large it is. This guy is truly absolutely excellent. Very good product, super duper fun, and I couldn't be more happy with the price that I got him at. So he is at our number 4 spot. So we are now going to get into our top 3. And like I said, he is the last gold medalist. These next 3 are they are platinum medalists, son. They are excellent. I think they're just excellent. At our number 3 spot is Onyx Prime. What an absolutely excellent figure. As I said before, the reason every Prime from the Age of the Primes line has been on this list is because I feel like they are excellent standalone figures that you don't need to go all in on the 13 Primes for. And he is the best of that batch and then some. His robot mode, this whole figure to me encapsulates the sci-fi fantasy, the space fantasy aspect of the 13 Primes. He to me looks the most like a true demigod. My Cronus Prime was excellent in all his aspects. I think help with that. Prima Prime, there's a lot that helps with that as well in their own rights, but he is up front like, hey, I am above even other Cybertronians, even just a regular Cybertronian. And he is just absolutely excellent. Every mode, all 3 of his modes convey that excellently. From right here to in his robot mode, to his centaur mode, to his griffin dragon mode. And even though that mode is, I think, the weakest of the bunch, there's still so much to it that lets your imagination go wild. He's just absolutely excellent. A super fun toy. Very unique color scheme with the browns and the bronzes and the golds. I think I wouldn't mind seeing that repaint where he's red, gray, yellow, brown, and whatnot. Ultimately, just super excellent, super good. He does look great in a group shot with the other 13 Primes. Him and Megatron is standing side by side. There he is, right over there. Is really fun and absolutely just cool to see. I immediately get to think like, okay, what would a showdown between him and Megatronus look like? How would a training match between him and Prima would look like? how would he go about fighting in the first place? Would he activate his centaur mode? Would he utilize his spear and his tail? Oh geez, and his tail, which can split in half and become a bow and arrow? Would he just stick to his scepter right here? What kind of powers does he have? How does he go about doing his business with all the other animalistic Cybertronians? He is just lovely and excellent, and really makes my imagination soar. So yes, this is our number 3 platinum medal earner right here. Absolutely excellent. Just wonderful. Just absolutely, truly a wonderful toy. One of the best, obviously. At my number 2 spot, in keeping with the Brawl theme, I suppose, is Masterpiece Movie Brawl. If there's anyone who recalls what I said last video about him, where I couldn't find him for the life of me, it was even harder to find him after that because of aftermarket upcharging, which was just ridiculous. There was a small point where that original $160 price point seemed like it was only going to be $200, but thankfully it was not so. I was able to find this guy on a separate website. I don't remember what it's called at the moment off the top of my head, but I got him for that original $160 price point. I believe actually just $165, a $5 upcharge, which I was happy to pay. And he is just fucking awesome. He's just, pardon my language, he is just great. His transformation is very complex, but with a toy of this caliber, it should be. Just the way he is just super fun to mess around with. Never mind all the accessories he comes with. You can remove his arm and replace it with the stub that he had in the movie. He has multiple blast effects that show him getting shot at, but also show him using both of his rocket launchers and his minigun. He is the most toyetic movie masterpiece toy that I think there is right now. He isn't entirely held down by having to be, hyper. Well, he is not. He does have to be hyper accurate and look good and look fun and be good and still have a good transformation that leads to a very excellent vehicle mode. But they gave him so much accessories that it's still very funny to think that you can be able to pick him up and just mess around with him like any other regular Transformer that you would buy out of Walmart or Target. So very, very excellent, very, very good. I was so happy to be able to get him this year. I believe, if I recall correctly, this was the Christmas gift that I got the birthday gift that I got myself, and absolutely worth it, more than worth it. He is just excellent. He's great. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, dude, what a year it has been. The list that I have, that I can say that I've made, and yet still have so many excellent toys on the list of bots that couldn't make it, is just astounding. I could not be more lucky, I could not be more privileged, and I could not be happier to be able to say that I can make a video like this where I just talk about toys for upwards of an hour or upwards of 40 minutes, depending on how long this video is going to be by the time it's edited down. My number 1 spot is Transformers Generations Blades. He is my number 1. He's my number 1 Transformer out of the top 25 of 2025. This epitomizes fun. This is the most fun I have had with any Transformer, and I've had a lot of fun with these Transformers that I have shown off here. Everything is dedicated to having a good time, from the turbines that spin at the push of a button. Oh geez, I'm messing with him now. From the turbines that spin at the push of a button, to the winch that goes out and in at the pull of a hand and the push of a button, to utilizing the included Cyberplanet key. To utilizing the included Cyberplanet key to insert it in his backpack and flick and shoot out the missile launchers before activating them. Wow. wow, dude, this guy epitomizes everything that it meant to be, epitomizes what it meant to be as a Transformers toy back in the 2000s, back when not only accuracy but fun was the priority. I had always loved the evac mold. I'd always thought it looked really, really cool, but I just don't remember ever seeing it growing up. I don't think I ever caught it at a Walmart. I don't think I ever caught it at a Target, whenever those times may have been that we went there. But as time went on, I did just want to mess with the mold. I did want to own that mold because I thought it was just that absolutely excellent. And to have it now and to mess with his robot mode to this capacity is just fun. The transformation that I am currently engaging in is super fun, super simple, super chunky, and just wonderful. It's not difficult at all. It's, though admittedly, a little bit clunky because of the wind blades and a peg on the arm that has his motor, his wind turbine, I mean. But past that, he is just wonderful and lovely to mess around with. And I think, personally, he shines almost more than his robot mode when he is in his vehicle mode, just because there's so much more space to let everything engage in. And what a vehicle mode this is, man. This is lovely. This is super sleek, super excellent, and very much shows that it's not just a pure action front, pure soldiers that are in the Autobot side. There are guys that are there to rescue you first, and everything else comes later. The winch makes so much more sense when you have the helicopter spinning like he's about to save someone that's drowning, and he knows that he's the only one that can be able to do that. And it'll come again right back up, and it can be able to move on a ratcheted swivel that can be able to move on a ratcheted swivel in whatever direction you want. The blades have so much more room to spin and freely mimic flying through the air in, if granted they do bang in a tiny bit on the Cyberplanet key port, but even then it's still not enough of a hassle for me to even consider putting it lower on the list. The engines, or what would be the engine of the helicopter, are also the missile launchers here, and everything just is able to work, oh dear, all the better, all the more on this figure. I am very, very excited about this thing. I'm throwing too much caution to the wind right now. Excuse me, there we go. Such a great toy. Genuinely so excellent. I'm super grateful and lucky and honored and privileged to be able to have the sort of life where I can be able to buy toys like these and just talk about them to a camera for several minutes, and to be able to say that this is my number one. And with all that said, those were my top 25 Transformers of the year 2025. I am planning to do a few more videos. I am going to talk about everything that did not make it on the list. I do intend to talk about my top regular action figures, and I do intend to talk about my top brick-built construction sets. I'm debating doing my top Gunpla. I didn't get too many this year. I think I only got like 5 or 6. But I'm just so lucky and so privileged and so honored to have all those toys. And I want to be able to show that love that I have for them with you on the YouTube sphere. So, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I pray that it's a good one for everybody. And I pray that I'll be able to get enough Transformers this year alone that I can be able to do a top 26 of 2026. But until then, until next time.